Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview Sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Do you want to become insanely successful? Do you want to be the go-to guru in your industry? Do you want to be talked about for all the right reasons? For over 40 years, Kevin Harrington has helped people just like you become significant influencers. Now he's broken the process down in the Key Person of Influence Roadmap, and it's yours for free. Just text KPI to him at 727-888-2100. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free step-by-step guide. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 to get the recognition you deserve and experience the success as the go-to voice everyone listens to in your industry today. Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. I am your co-host, Seth Greene. Here with me today is our very special guest, Ravi Jayagopal. Ravi is the co-founder and co-developer of DigitalAccessPass.com, a premier membership platform for WordPress. He is also the host of the podcast SubscribeMe.fm, where he talks about the making, marketing, and monetization of online digital content. He came from very humble beginnings in India and turned that into a highly successful career as an internet entrepreneur. And he is a multiple-time best-selling Amazon author. We are here today to talk about his new Kindle, his new book, How to Reach a New Audience of 30 Million Listeners with an Alexa Flash Briefing Skill Created in 1 Hour. If you already have a podcast, 1 week. If you don't. Ravi, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. If you didn't know I was a marketer, that title right there should tell you that.
It's great copy. I love it. I bought it as soon as I saw it. As soon as it popped up on my suggestions, I bought it.
Excellent.
Awesome. So for those of us who don't know, because I honestly did not know until I read your book, what is an Alexa Flash Briefing?
So Amazon created this new platform that is available through Alexa, which is, and again, Alexa, a lot of people think you have to have an actual Echo device. You don't. You can download the Alexa app. So think of it as a micro podcast. So Amazon came out and said, okay, people have this device in their houses. How can we give them max value for the owners? So they created this new micro podcasting format where you can say, I'm going to say Alexander, because I don't want to wake up a whole bunch of, or we have already said it a few times, so that's okay. So you can say, Alexa, what's my flash briefing? And then Alexa, based on the previous flash briefings that you have signed up for, will start reading them off one after the other. And the advantage is that flash briefings are literally supposed to be flash, like fast and brief, right? Unlike a podcast, which you can take introductions, and there can be small talk, and there's intro music and outros, and so you cannot have all of that. It's basically the traffic and weather versus the actual main show.
Okay, so when you say micro podcast, how much time would you say is optimal for a Alexa Flash Briefing?
2 to 5 minutes is what I found works the best. And if you're an existing podcaster, and you might be tempted to take your existing podcast and cut out the fluff and make it into a flash briefing, that's a great start. But ideally, if you plan it correctly, you should be able to. It's almost like, people don't watch Saturday Night Live and Jimmy Kimmel on all these, talk shows anymore. They get clips of it on YouTube. The best clips are put on YouTube. Similar to that, think of taking the best chunks of your existing podcast and creating you can even be 1 minute. There are flash briefings that are like word of the day or prayer of the day or skill of the day or, a joke of the day. So there's so many different shows out there right now, and it can be 1 to 5 minutes. Again, like I usually say on my podcast and then in my writings as well, there's no such thing as too long, only too boring. In this case, you just want to make it, again, this is, I stole that quote from somebody else. That's not my original quote. It doesn't have to be, 1 minute, or it doesn't have to be 5 minutes. You just try to keep it as short as possible. And I think it was Blaise Pascal who said, I would have made it shorter if I had more time.
Right. Okay. So Alexa flash briefing, a micro podcast, 1 to 5 minutes in length. We can use the best 1 to 5 minutes out of our existing show, or create a new separate 1 to 5 minute episode specifically for Alexa. Now, 30 million plus people already have either an Amazon Echo or an Alexa app. I didn't know what a flash briefing was. I would assume Amazon's going to start marketing these, right? Because they want people to consume them.
Absolutely. And the 30 million at the time of writing it was, before the holiday shopping season. So I think they just lowered their price for their Alexa Dot, which is Echo Dot, which is the smallest device they have. It's selling for like $19.99 this past Black Friday. So I'm pretty sure they've sold multiple million of these more.
You're going to have to put out a new version of your book every couple of weeks.
Absolutely. And then the cool thing about Kindle is I just go in and update the title, and 5 minutes later I have a new book, so there's no problem. 30 million, even at the time of writing that, was not the apps, right? That was actual devices. So,
okay. So it's even, the audience is actually even bigger.
Bigger.
And given Amazon's aptitude for taking over the world, it's going to get bigger and bigger.
Right. And the cool thing is, it's not just, they are promoting this in multiple ways, right? They just released a microwave which has Alexa capabilities. So they're coming in through the side door, not necessarily to the main door. So as they release more Alexa-enabled devices, at some point people will probably say, okay, you know what? Let me just get an Alexa. There's so many devices to control the home, and so many home devices, and that's how they get in. And with all constant marketing and Cyber Monday and Black Friday, and they're constantly throwing out deals and bundles. So they've started home development recently. They're building homes. They're tied up with a home developer with Alexa built into the homes. So yeah, Amazon is coming at you fast. And recently they gave away a $230 Echo Show, which is basically an Amazon Echo with a screen. And all you had to do was create a flash briefing skill. So I have a brand new Echo Show worth $230 here sitting on my desk. That's from Amazon. I haven't even opened it because I haven't had any need for it. I already have an Echo device. That's how much they're invested in growing this platform. And currently there's I believe there's probably 6,000 or 7,000 flash briefings compared to 550,000 over half podcast. And then I talk about this in my book. I don't have the numbers here on top of my head. Okay, so 5 billion plus YouTube videos. So what would you rather compete with? 5 billion YouTube videos growing by tens of thousands of videos each day, 1 billion websites, or 550,000 podcasts, or 6,000, 7,000 flash briefings.
It sounds like now is the ground floor and the exact right time to get in on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, with anything new, that's part of the awesome thing about getting in on the ground floor is there are not too many people right now. Marketers are not yet all over this thing because there are not that many listeners, right? 30 million is nothing. When you can say we had 300 million people all over the world listening to podcasts. So it's not that big. Again, all 30 million people are not necessarily already in, but they're getting in to flash briefings. The best thing about flash briefing is you have to, even the mindset of the podcaster has to be different. You cannot be in the same mindset of creating content as a podcaster. As a podcaster, a lot of people are used to creating these audiograms, right? This little clips of video with the moving audio and then waveform that we promote on Facebook and social media. All for podcasts, you have to get in that mindset, provide value, and get out, and you can have a quick call to action so that they know where to find you and where to listen to older episodes. Because with the flash briefing, once that episode is gone for the day, it's gone. You cannot tell Alexa, play last week's episode, unlike a podcast. So you have to create it like a podcast and deliver it as a flash briefing. And you can also repurpose it as a regular podcast and submit it to iTunes and Spotify and everywhere else.
So it's When you say it disappears, there's no channel for me of my flash briefing where you could go listen to my last 27. It's you get my one that day. If after you listen to it, it's gone. What if I do a flash briefing today and somebody tunes in tomorrow? Do they get my one for the next day, or do they miss? So if they're not tuned in today, they miss it today entirely?
Correct. You only get the latest. If you release one today and one tomorrow, and somebody just signs up for your flash briefing tomorrow, they'll hear the latest one.
Okay, so it's almost like a Snapchat podcast, and then it disappears after 24 hours.
Like almost like an Instagram story. Yes, exactly. Snapchat, Snap.
Well, the original intent of Snapchat was to disappear right away. Okay, so It disappears. So we've got to be, how often should we be airing our daily flash briefing? Does that mean we've got to air every day?
You don't have to. Now, when you set up your flash briefing, Amazon asks you, how often do you want to refresh the feed? Do you want me to refresh the feed, as in Alexa? You can say daily, or you can say weekly. I would say set the setting to be weekly, but you don't have to publish every day. And on a day you don't publish, if somebody who's an existing flash briefing subscriber subscribes, it'll say, sorry, this show is not available today, right? Or something like that. And you can also there's an error message also that you can configure. So it'll basically say this is not available right now. And it'll move on to the next one. So that's okay. If it's hard for you to create content every day, I would rather you still set it to weekly and then put out maybe 1 to 3 episodes a week, if not 5.
And you're not doing, again, with 1 to 5 minutes, you're not, and you talked about this earlier, you're not doing intros, outros, production. Like, it's literally just you. If it's an interview, it's snippets of your interview. If it's you just talking for a minute, it's you just talking. It's not a 30-second music intro. You cannot have, if it's a 1 minute or 3 minute show, you can't have a 30-second intro, right? That's 10% of the show right there. So you want to be, maybe in my show, for example, cut to the chase.fm, it just says there's a chorus thing. It says cut to the chase.fm, and that's it. And then I get right into the show. Is it you singing?
No, it's not.
Sorry, I had to ask.
Yeah, thankfully it's not. And I got it done on Fiverr, actually. There are some fantastic singers there who'll create a little 5-second jingle for you, and that's what I would recommend. Okay.
All right. Now, you said another thing. You said Alexa will read your flash briefing. So does this mean it's written and Alexa's voice is reading it? How does that, or is this audio content? How does that work?
They have both options, but I would not recommend the Alexa read it stuff. It sounds robotic. Basically, if you want Alexa to read it, then you would submit a blog RSS feed, just like a WordPress feed. So you would submit it, and then so I would recommend voice feed, in which case you are going to submit. Basically, it's a podcast RSS feed, and you can repurpose the same feed as both an Alexa flash briefing, and you can submit it to iTunes and Spotify and Stitcher, and there it becomes a 1 to 3 times a day podcast, 3 times a week podcast. So you would record it, and you'll may or may not have a quick jingle or an intro, and then get right into it and provide value. Boom, boom, get in, get out, and obviously you can have. If you're promoting your own business, you want to do it in context, and you can say, at the end of the day, end of the show, you can say, hey, we would definitely want to tell them this is a key call to action, is because it's a podcast feed, and you should make it available on your website, putting a player on your website, as well as submitting to iTunes and everything. And then in your flash briefing, you say, to listen to older episodes of this show, visit cuttothechase.fm. Whatever your call to action, your website is. And that's how you make sure that even those who are listening on Alexa know where to go to listen to past episodes, because you cannot do it with Alexa.
Okay, so that feeds in. That was part of my next question was, will Amazon tell you who your flash briefing subscribers are? Can you email them? Can you push notify them? Can you contact them in any way? Or does it all have to be in your show, you take them off Alexa to register, to get your opt-in somewhere else?
Yeah, you cannot. They don't give you any information other than how many times the show has been downloaded. So you do get
stats.
Like a typical podcast. Yeah, you do get some stats. And again, They also cache a lot of those stats, so I'm not sure at this point if if it says 200 downloads, if it's all 200, and if somebody listens to it again, what happens? We don't have much insight into that because it's still early in the game, and Amazon is not giving out too much information. They do say they cache it on their end, so your podcast might get on your podcast host, you might get more downloads than what Amazon shows you in the back end. You have to take it with a grain of salt when it says, 100 downloads or 200 downloads. It may actually, on Amazon's end, it may be more than that because they do cache it on their end.
Okay. So if it disappears every 24 hours and they can't go back on Alexa and listen to a previous episode, technically you could probably reuse a whole bunch of content because they can't go back. I mean, I wouldn't air the same episode every single day, but
absolutely.
you could probably do an episode 1 and re-air it 27 days later because they may not even remember. Your new subscribers would never have seen it. And the people who've been around for 30 days may not remember what you did 30 days ago.
Absolutely. And you can recycle episodes. Obviously, you may want to re-change the title or some intro, and obviously don't say the episode number you want to do some stuff that doesn't give away that this is an older episode, right? You can recycle. Just like with an email autoresponder series, some marketers will say when you hit the end of this series, recycle back. Because some of those social media posting tools where like Get Edgar, which you can't do anymore, by the way. So end of the queue, you start rotating back. So you can do that technically, but you would have to upload the files again and again. There's no way to tell Alexa start from the beginning, right? Because you should provide Alexa a single episode feed. Now, there are only a few podcast hosts, at least one that I know of that does this. That's Libsyn. And you can go to Libsyn and you have to email them and say, give me a special RSS feed for Alexa flash briefings, and they'll give you a separate link that basically takes your existing feed and then just gives you a special feed with just the latest episode on it. So you are always, and that's what you give to Alexa, so that Alexa is always seeing a single episode feed, and that keeps changing every time you release a new one.
Got it. Okay. Amazing information, fascinating new market to get into, and Amazon, and take advantage of the ground floor of Amazon again, attempting to dominate another corner of the world. Ravi, we greatly appreciate your time and your expertise. For the folks who are listening who want to get a copy of How to Reach a New Audience of 30 million plus listeners with an Alexa flash briefing skill created in 1 hour, if you already have a podcast, 1 week if you don't, where is the best place for us to send them? Do you want them to go get it on Amazon? Or I know you have a separate site. Do you want us to send them there?
Sure. If you can just go to subscribeme.fm, that is my main website, which lists all of my books and my products, my services, my podcast, everything. Subscribeme.fm is the best place to go to also reach me.
Awesome. Ravi Jayagopal, thank you so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Seth.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next time. Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the. Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.